It's Western Wednesday, everybody. I know you can kind of hear me. So, in the great tradition of Western Wednesday, let's take a look at this right here.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Well, Rhonda, I guess it is Western Wednesday. We had our our good friends there, Clint, Eli, and Lee Van Cleef. What do you say to that? How are you today, Rhonda?
I'm good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Oz. Good,
Good
bad, and the
morning.
ugly is true.
It,
Woo!
yeah, it's been a pretty ugly day news wise too, and I gotta say I'm having a hell of a time figuring out what's ugly and what's good and what's bad. So we're gonna go good, bad, and the ugly. Is there anything on your mind first thing in this morning?
No, just get it all over with the ugly first. Get the ugly out of the way. That's how I work.
Oh my God,
Give me the bad. Give me the bad.
I don't know. I really don't know what's uglier today. I don't know. I guess we need to start with the ugly first. So let's get that out of the way. And I'm kind of disheveled this morning. Can you make some shout outs to everybody who's here this morning while I'm messing?
Oh, I would love to. Hello, hello. I got to say hello to Melissa. She was in early waiting for us. Thank you, Melissa. Human. Hi, human. Humans having a good conversation with themselves. No, just kidding. Oh, I see. Oz is in the room as a Comedia, and Rhonda's there. Thank you all for joining in. It says 6 are watching, but I only see a couple of names here. Say hi, all. Say hi. Let me shout out your names.
Yeah, say hi. Say hi. I guess Barbara. There's Barbara. Good morning, Barbara. Hi, human. Hi, human. Melissa.
Maybe I just have to restart it. Sometimes I have to get out and come back in to see
Yeah,
things.
yeah. We're
All
running.
right, I see Barbara and Melissa talking again. So yes, hi, Barbara.
Yeah, there we are. There we are. And we're running a little hot this morning, folks. So if the meteorite falls and knocks us off, we'll be back, hopefully. Um, let's talk about my favorite ugly subject these days, which is really not my favorite at all because it's about Joe Biden again. Joe Biden. Anyway, David Dole. David Dole tweeted this morning something that we can all feel, and this is pretty damn ugly. This is a public service announcement by our presumptive Democratic candidate, and let's just give everybody a dose of Joe this morning. Here we go, divers. Put your gear on.
Keegan, do you have any threes?
No, I don't. Do you have any nines?
Yeah. I always start with dessert.
Is the name Maurice funnier than Martin?
I like Maurice.
One R. Yeah, don't try too hard.
Working on a speech that I'm going to need you to deliver.
You try to find a place for the word loquacious. 41 down, comedy duo Key and Blank. How many E's in Peel?
Three. 3 E's in Peel. 3.
It's 13.
Come on, Keegan, you can do 20. Keegan, I do everything 46 these days.
That's 20.
Do 30, Keegan. 30. 10 more.
Come on, Joe.
30. Pretty good, man.
Yeah, is that nice?
Pretty good. I'm still working on my sunglasses.
But, Joe, I got to get going.
Where are you going? You're quarantined. You can't go anywhere. We're in quarantine.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Keegan, do you have any threes?
I do, Joe. Yes, I do.
David Dole, I'm so over this fucking bullshit. Yeah, me too. And the irony about that little spot there is that I think Joe does think Peel is spelled with 3 E's. What?
Right. Well, then they're trying to make him make it look cute. That.
Yeah. Meanwhile, people are getting shot in our streets, murdered. We've got people dying of coronavirus. We've got unending wars going on. We've got the economy tanking like it's never tanked before for the poorest of the working poor. And not to mention, people are losing their jobs right and left. But it's kind of funny. Joe comes in with that with Keegan and says, "Yeah, I start with dessert." And I was going to suggest to Joe, why don't you just go over to Nancy's and have some ice cream?
I'm surprised they didn't just pull her into that shot with her big old freezer full of freaking ice cream.
Yeah, but Trump, and this is what we have. We had a candidate who was talking about the issues, Medicare for all, these unending wars, the economy, the coronavirus, everything else. And I'm not going to take away from Bernie on that at all. But, he was on the issues. He wasn't eating ice cream with, high-profile individuals making public service announcements about this. Do you call this leading in the face of this coronavirus thing?
Oh, I was going to say, I don't see this as a leader at all. He's not coming out with anything that's going to give actual help to people here. I mean, it's like, just look at me. I'm cute. I'm still doing all right in my mansion. I'm sure you guys are doing well, too. Yeah. I'm just kicking with...
It's the McMansion class mentality. It's, honestly, we're beating this to death as usual, but people are going to say, but Trump. Thank you, Jeffrey Pearson. But Trump. Yeah, but Trump. TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. Anyway, that's one up for the ugly segment this morning on Western Wednesday. Yeah, courtesy.
I'm feeling sick now. Thanks, Oz.
Yeah, courtesy of the Natural Progressive. She suggested Western themed, and we're going to get to
I like it.
Yeah, so let's go to our next ugly for today, because we have more than one. The next.
Do I get my puke bag out now, Oz, or is that a little bit later in the show? This, are we going to get better? What?
I hope we get better. This is gives new meaning to throw up in my mouth a little bit, but let me see if I can find it here. A couple more shout outs while I'm looking through here. So
shout outs. Shanda joined us. Hi, Shanda. Thank you. Good to see you here. Barbara and Melissa are doing some chatting up in there. Jeffrey Pearson, I think we shouted him out already.
Yeah. Well, okay. Shoot, I thought we were done with the Biden thing. I guess let's put it in here anyway, since we did it. Okay. This is
what do we do? We have another Biden thing.
Yeah, we got to beat on Biden about his lying. Sorry, everybody. Please bear with us through these our PSAs. And again, everybody in the gallery there, please heap it on, will you? Heap it on.
Part of the reason why so many people in the Democratic establishment have said they believe Joe Biden is because he doesn't have a record, they say, of any past misdeeds in his history. And you know what? Yeah, there's aside from a history of, what is it, touching, inappropriate kissing,
unwanted
touching. That is true. But there is, in terms of his veracity of public statements, and that's something that we've got flagged all the way back from the very first time that Joe Biden ran for president. Let's take a listen to what the news media said at that time.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
I saw that one flagged on the. It was just so good.
Trump campaign's highlighting this one for understandable reasons, but it's pretty hilarious.
And it's a partisan cut. That's where it came from.
Right.
I mean, like, my God. Like that, I mean, look, that does actually speak to something that a lot of people don't remember. We talked a lot about Elizabeth Warren's history and past on this show, and that's the same thing that actually applies to Joe Biden. I mean, we talk a little bit more about his policy record because it's more substantial, and I think even more egregious. But a lot of it, I mean, remember, this is a person who was forced out, I think, of the 1988 presidential race for lying and for a plagiarism scandal, and had frequently misstated his own past record in the public, so much so that he was getting called out on these massive nightly newscasts at the time.
Yeah, but Trump, right?
Trump.
Right, Jeffrey, right, Melissa, but Trump. And that doesn't even touch on Tara Reid. Again, the guy's history, but Trump. I mean, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I can't believe what's unfolding in front of our face with this guy. And Rhonda, you know, the Tara Reid allegations that have credible backing on this.
So credible.
Biden lying in the last debate with Bernie Sanders, where Bernie should have gutted him in that debate. He lied 5 times on national, international programming. Rhonda, give us some take while I get up the next clip here. This today, it's just a shit show. I got a bag of shit a mile long, and it's all pretty ugly.
I still can't believe that he's the front runner. I mean, I really did. I have to admit, I counted him out early. I really did not see this happening, and I'm still just in shock that we're where we are right now. It's just ridiculous. And this was back when he got called out, is when there was decent journalism still around a bit. There were people that would call some of this stuff out, but now you don't have that. You just don't have it.
No, you don't. You don't. It's all but Trump. Now, this brings us to our next little segment here of ugly once again. And Rick and Morty, I don't know what Rick and Morty is, but is this guy's name Morty, this writer for the New York Times, that wants he wants a coronation? I was floored when I saw this. Was the first story this morning from our production assistants at the Hill, Krystal and Saagar. Sorry, guys. And to all of you who follow these shows and hear the phrase of, or the comments about, oh, we don't want news people analyzing news people or blogs. Well, guess what? We call them our lovely production assistants, and we hope we can help them in the same way. What I do is I look at these stories, and the Hill is the top of the food chain in the morning. And I take what they're talking about, and Rhonda and I come in and give our view on it so we can hear your views on it. That's what it's about. We're not trying to highlight anybody in particular. It's about the news or lack thereof. Here we go. This one is going to get a gold star in our special way, but check this out.
Really caught our eye this morning. This is a fun one.
This set all of us on fire. Just the sheer honesty of it. So let's throw it up here on the
Points
screen.
for that,
this is
I guess.
From Washington journalist, longtime Washington journalist Martin Tolchin. He wrote a letter to the editor where he argued he wants a, quote, coronation for former Vice President Biden and not even an investigation. I don't want an investigation. This is a direct quote. I want a coronation of Joe Biden. Would he make a great president? Unlikely. Would he make a good president? Good enough. Would he be a better president than the present occupant? Absolutely. And he later goes on he basically later goes on to say, I don't want justice, whatever that may be. I want a win, the removal of Donald Trump from office. And Mr. Biden is our best chance. Suppose an investigation reveals damaging information concerning a relationship with Tara Reid, and Mr. Biden loses the nomination to Senator Bernie Sanders. Should we really risk the possibility?
Oh,
it's amazing.
My God.
He said the quiet part out loud. Okay, look, we should disclose. So Tolchin, he worked at the New York Times. Apparently worked at Politico. Allegedly, he worked here at The Hill a long time ago. He's a former top editor, so disclosure.
He's made the rounds around a lot of media outlets.
DC.
But it's just incredible that he actually says, because again, okay, what is this about? We covered here, the New York Times editorial, laughably calling for an independent investigation by the DNC, which is hilarious to start with. So that's what he's responding to, and he's like, I completely object to this investigation idea. All I want is a coronation. I mean, just...
for the love of God, is this what we have devolved to in our society? I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. They wanted a coronation in 2016.
Oh, Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
it's no surprise, and it works really well. We the people really like to be told who to coronate. We don't care about having our own voice and our own vote. Not at all.
Yeah,
No.
this is surreal what's going on. I mean, we've got basically two rapists, sexual abusers, liars, running for the president of the United States once again. And I've got to say, I think that Martin, the guy that wrote this op-ed this morning for the New York Times, deserves the New York Slimes. Our Wipey Award of the day goes to Martin at the New York Times. He can have the Wipey Award. He'll feel right at home when he's conditioning his bum after what comes out of that area just came out of his pie hole. So, I mean, my God, Jesus Christ. Rhonda, help me finish.
We're in the alternate universe, Oz. We are. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's just like so blatant, and they don't care anymore because most people just. I mean, they're just.
It's corruption in your face. It's privilege. It's everything. It's in. We don't care about the peasants. Let them eat cake. I mean. Oh my God! What happened to our morals?
Oh, they're not gonna let us peasants eat cake. Oz.
Oh,
come on, stop
it!
it.
Not cake. What? Moldy bread? Is that what they're? I think it's going to be moldy bread with everything.
That I can say it would be more accurate. Yes.
Yeah, moldy bread, huh? I don't know anymore. I don't know. I think I'm gonna. It's more ugly. I have yet to see some good. Shall we try and get some good? I'm going to bump the story. I'm going to bring it around to the corporations. Back to the corporations here. What the corporations are wanting, and I'll parse this by saying, everybody, are there any comments out there? Good morning, Shanda. I don't think I said good morning, Shanda. Jeffrey, down ballot elections is all we have left. And to affect real change, in his opinion, at Melissa, he said, the choice between two lying pussy grabbers, yes. Human Bernie voters will help down ballot vote. I agree, Human. Yeah. I mean, it's nuts. Now, I want to switch it up and try and find something good, but we're gonna go to bad again. We're gonna try and finish with some good. We're going to try and finish with some good because we've had ugly, and now we're just going to, I think this will qualify as bad. Jimmy Dore, our friend Jimmy Dore, who people love or hate or like or whatever.
Hate to love.
He said about, I would say a little over a month ago when all this started, he goes, and this is not a direct quote, but he said something on the order of, you know what? Congress is going to come up with laws that shield corporations and entities from being sued for missteps, for lying, for mishandling the coronavirus situation. Let's check this out right here with what Krystal and Saagar brought up this morning that corporations want in the next bailout. And it ain't more money because they got a lot of it the first time around.
Almost a year ago, 181 leaders of America's largest businesses pledged to run their companies with the interests of workers in mind, not the shareholders. Now, in an economic crisis, some are lobbying to strip away some legal rights and whistleblower protections related to their coronavirus response.
The Young Turks investigates managing editor Jonathan Larson reports that companies and lobbying groups like the National Chamber of Commerce have been making their case to the feds, including trying to get a blanket coronavirus liability shield passed. And Jonathan joins us now via Skype to explain more. It's something, Jonathan, that we've been covering here. Thank you so much for your great reporting.
Now, I recommend everybody watch this segment to really get a grip on it. But instead of letting Jonathan Larson talk about it here, which you can watch on The Hill, we love our friends at The Hill, even you too, Saagar. What Jonathan's going to go into is what Jimmy said a couple of months ago. The lobbyists are going to try and get Congress to enact legislation which shields any and all entities against liability for missteps or inaction or inappropriate moves or employee whatever, things that don't help the employees, to make them into laws. So those individuals can't sue these entities. Now, do you want to expand a little bit on that, Rhonda? And then I'll get into a little bit more of the minutia.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming, none of their friends up at the top in these corporations won't get any kind of help at all out of this. On both sides. You can't just look at the Democrats and the Republicans separately on this. Corporations own both of them. And in essence, they're saying, we don't care what happens to the little people. Do what you want. Step on them, squish them, get them sick. It don't matter.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you know what you're doing ahead of time, too, because it's all right. They can't come after you. We got you. We got you. Keep that money in your pocket.
Yeah,
it's just another way to control.
Yeah, it's that Dr. Oz and Dr. what's his name, bald-headed guy like me, Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, is that who it was? About, oh, well, let's get the kids back to school. 2% death rate going back to school. That's whatever. And I'm not taking it out of context. They said it, and we know what they meant. They walked it back, or at least Dr. Oz did. He was quoting some institution. Bullshit. What this means is they're trying to go in there. They want to shield the corporations from liability. And in that shielding, you can bet that they're going to shield assholes like Tom Perez from promoting going out in, what was it, Wisconsin and Ohio, those primaries. So there's no liability there for all those poll workers and people who went to vote because they were basically forced to go vote, to do their patriotic duty in those elections. Whereas, to get out there and have the possibility of catching coronavirus, they don't want anything coming back on them. And it's the employers, it's the meat packing plants, it's all these people who the insurance companies, I've been seeing commercials by the insurance companies about the frontliners. Oh, they're wonderful people. We got our first front line, the front line, all this, patting them on the head while at the same time, Rhonda, not giving them, hazard pay or supporting the PPE or any of this other stuff. So it's just one more thing where.
Did you catch in there though, Oz? The statement about whistleblowers? It's just another way to start chopping whistleblowers at the knees.
Yeah.
So not just for coronavirus, but it'll set a precedence for others. And it's ridiculous. It's horrible.
Yeah, let's just crucify and burn at the stake the Bradley Mannings, the Julian Assanges, all them. Let's legalize it that much more. Let's change the narrative and point the blame at those people. Let's not protect them. So I guess, this is bad. It's probably uglier than we may think, but this is what they're going to do. And Jimmy was right. And
yeah, Jimmy was right.
Yeah, and not exclusively to Jimmy, but he said it publicly in the forums that our group basically participates in. And again, say what you want, but that self-proclaimed jerk-off comedian in his garage has been right on more of the political points in the last 4 years than any of them. We highlighted that yesterday when he was talking about how Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders were going to have to go out and campaign for Joe Biden. And Andrew Yang, what did he say? That's not going to get to that point.
That's not going to happen. No way.
Whatever. You want to close this one out? I think we've beaten the shit out of this one this morning. So.
Yeah, no, I'm done with that. It's just they're going to try to take away any of our rights any way they can, and they'll use coronavirus every little bit possible.
Yeah. So watch out, folks. Nobody's going to take responsibility for restarting the economy or getting everybody back to work or making sure all these people that are frightened to death of going back to their jobs too soon and getting sick and dying so their family can just rot in the streets with the rest of us peasants. Was that harsh? I'm sorry. Truth is harsh, and you all know it is, so I make no bones about it. Now let's see if we can find some good here. Good, Krystal, Michelle Obama. I ran as a delegate for Barack Obama in 2008. And I wasn't so much about Barack Obama, except for his hope and change. I mean, we're all, yeah, let's hope and change, the audacity of hope or the audacity of bullshit, whatever you want to do it. But I was more, this country's really turning around. Oh my God, we're going to elect the first Black American as president of the United States. Thank God, the paradigm shifting. But for me, I was looking even beyond that in the sense of the First Lady, Michelle Obama. And I made my 1 minute and 30-second speech at the delegate convention to go to be a national delegate or state delegate. And I said, I am so excited to have Michelle Obama as the First Lady of the United States. And everybody was like, oh, that's so great. I was being real. I was for sure, no bullshit. I didn't want to be the delegate. I was really excited about this. So, that being said, we know what happened. Establishment Steve Branson, let's fly to the moon and, on our yacht. Anyway, Michelle Obama has, come out and said with, I guess, her new Netflix movie, who she blames for all the ills of society. Let's start this off. I've cut this into 2 clips for everybody. And here we go. Krystal's talking about Michelle's new Netflix movie.
All right, Krystal, what's on your radar?
Well, today is the big launch of Michelle Obama's Netflix documentary, Becoming, based on her book of the same title. Now, according to reviewers, the film is not particularly political, doesn't talk all that much about Trump, and is mostly focused on the personal journey of Michelle Obama as our nation's first Black First Lady. The comments, though, that are getting the most attention so far are, though, Ms. Obama's thoughts on Donald Trump's election. What did she think about that seminal moment, which in many ways has to be viewed not only as a rejection of Hillary Clinton, but a rejection of the neoliberal reign of Barack Obama? Well, you might be surprised about who the former First Lady is upset with. She explained, quote, I understand the people who voted for Trump, the people who didn't vote at all, the young people, the women. That's when you think, man, people think this is a game. It wasn't just in this election. Every midterm, every time Barack didn't get the Congress he needed, that was because our folks didn't show up. After all that work, they just couldn't be bothered to vote at all. That's my trauma. She also described this failure of our folks to show up as a slap in the face. Now, those comments are honestly pretty incredibly revealing. And in this conception, the voters are not actors with their own interests and free will who are empowered to choose among their various options, one of which, of course, is decidedly staying home. They're bit players in the Obama or Democrat or neoliberal drama. She's not mad at the Trump voters because, of course, they were just doing their expected part by voting GOP. She's angry with our voters, the young people and women and working class minorities who stayed home or left the top of
yeah, she's mad at the people, our voters, the ones that stayed home. And I've gotten this shit forever since way back when. I mean, it was our fault in 2016. It was, it was Susan Sarandon, it was Jill Stein, it was the Russians. That's who she's mad at. She's not mad at.
It has nothing to do with the drones.
Yeah, nothing to do
with
the
cages that were being handled for the kiddos.
Or the housing crisis in 2008 and all this other stuff. Honestly, I'm trying to see some good here, but it's not really making it. What's your feeling about, Michelle's, making this Netflix movie and things, and then we'll get into the second half of this clip because it was just too long to run straight. And hi, Christine, you're late. Everybody, Natural Progressive, she's late. Everybody stare at her. Good morning, Christine.
She's late. I think I saw Schulte in too.
Hey, Schulte.
At one point.
Hey, Schulte. Welcome, Schulte. And yeah, Christine, stick around because this Wednesday is dedicated to the Natural Progressive. She wanted to have a Western Wednesday, and the movie we're going to feature today is Tombstone. So go ahead, Rhonda.
Now I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? Oh, Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle. Do you?
Well, she's just coming out, at least at this stance, with the others of it's not our fault, it's yours, it's yours, it's yours, it's yours. Playing the blame game. I had big hope for big change with Obama. And it was so depressing. And I guess, yeah, she can have her own Netflix show. Who doesn't have one these days? At least the Clinton one isn't smack dab in my face anytime I open it anymore. It used to every single time. Just
Was that
so
was that on Hulu for like 5 minutes or?
one of those. I don't know. I just remember I was getting done with seeing it. I was like, "Don't show me this stuff," and it doesn't give you any option to say hide it.
Yeah.
I would literally look to hide that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, God dang, I'm gonna.
And it wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, let's hear the other half of this clip, and then we get on to the movie and stuff
All right.
after I spew a little bit here on this.
So let's review the facts on exactly who failed who. Now, after his historic election.
Yeah, pay attention, everybody, because this is the best oration of what happened with the Obama presidency. Here you go.
With a truly euphoric and energized grassroots base of support, Barack Obama, the change candidate, set about governing pretty much the same old way. Staffed up with the same old people, listened to the same old donors, forged the same bipartisan consensus around war making and trade deals and business-friendly tax cuts and letting Wall Street run wild. Went ahead with the same Democratic Party tactics of using the left wing of the party as a punching bag in order to make himself look moderate and reasonable. Worked well enough to get himself reelected against a candidate in Mitt Romney who seemed determined to cartoonishly imitate a wooden, sneering American plutocrat. But anyone who bothered to look could witness the continued decimation of the Democratic Party during those times. Now, I ran in those 2010 midterms when our folks didn't show up and the Tea Party was raging. It wasn't just the Congress that Democrats lost, however. Over the course of Obama's 8 years in office, nearly 1,000 state legislative seats were lost. The number of trifectas, which are states in which Republicans controlled both houses and the governor's mansion, reached near historic heights. We lost the Senate, and then finally, even though we went with Obama's hand-picked successor, we lost the White House to Donald frickin' Trump. Now, there are a lot of things to say about that chain of events. We've said some of them here on this show. A lot of failures which led to that particular sequence. But to look at all of that and draw from it that the citizens failed, that the citizens thought this was all a game and outrageously declined to show up when the Obamas commanded them to, is frankly outlandish. Do you really think that the folks who are struggling with their gig jobs and still can't afford health care, afford rent, or to get married, or who watched all their wealth go down the drain in the housing collapse, do you think that to them this is a game? I honestly don't mean to come down just on Michelle here, because honestly, what bothers me most about it isn't one bad take from a woman who, of course, loves her husband and can't fathom why any of the groups who first lifted him to office may have grown less enraptured over time. But it is perfectly emblematic of the way that the whole Dem establishment thinks about voters.
I think she nailed it here. Drop the mic, Krystal. I mean, and she's quite good at reading her speeches from the teleprompt. I want one of those.
I do too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't. There's nothing I can really add to that. I mean, she nails it all the way down the line. And this has been said by Kyle. This has been said by Jimmy. This has been said by Mike Figueredo. They've all said this. I mean, Graham Elwood, same thing. I mean, he ate shit. You know, the bailout. They bailed out the banks and all the homeowners. 6 million homeowners got kicked out of their homes. I mean, come on, really? 12 years? I mean, the 8 years of the Obama administration, and people were worse off, and we got into more wars. Are you kidding me? So
right, it's our fault. It's our fault.
It's our fault
that we didn't just it's okay we didn't get the change we asked for, the change that we really believed it was coming. It's our fault that because it didn't come, that we didn't show up again.
Yeah, we didn't show up. But Trump, damn it. But Trump.
Yes, but Trump.
Okay.
But the thing is Trump wasn't even, no.
Yeah.
It's all their fault. I'm not going to take it anymore.
Nope,
I'm not.
Nope.
Not my fault no more.
Mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. So, yeah, again, thanks, everybody, for, listening, hearing our bent on the news bent. But I've got to say, I think Krystal's awesome, and I know that mainstream media hates her guts, and she should wear that proudly and keep it going. And there's so many others out there in independent media who are actually walking their talk, and they're sticking to it. So I honestly, I love them all, but I'm not gonna, like hang my hat on each one individually as a god. I didn't do that with Bernie Sanders. Glad I didn't, but you know, they have all started this shit, and we're gonna fucking finish it. That's all. That's gonna be my tagline. They started it. We're gonna finish it. Right, Kelly? Right, right, Christine? Right, Melissa? Right, Human? Right, Jeffrey? Right, Chelsea? We're going to fucking finish this shit one way or another because I'm going out swinging. This is my last ship I'm sailing, and this is it. So, on to the good stuff. How about some good stuff?
I like some good stuff.
I like some good stuff. Our Western Wednesday is going to end up with a suggestion from Christine, the Natural Progressive.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine. That was a good suggestion. And please, if you have suggestions for movie picks or songs, send them to roarmedialive@gmail.com. Gmail. I got to switch that someday. Gmail.com. Roarmedia.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. And remember, we've got a bunch of shows in the hopper. We did some great work on Shanda Masta's show, The Accidental Tourist. Yesterday, we had a great time. It was wonderful pre-production, and we got a lot of production done. So there again, Natural Progressive. Check her out. Truth Be Known with Suzanne Murphy. We've got the Town Hall Saturday night, right, Rhonda? Town Hall, and that's going to be...
Yes, we do.
What is that?
Anti-corruption and election reform, the heart of all of our problems. Don't miss out.
Oh, yeah, don't miss out. And the Saturday, we're going to have Marcus and Dennis. Hopefully, everything won't fall apart. We'll have Marcus and Dennis at 10 a.m. That's in the Progressive Weekly Review spot, and then Larry Taylor for PDPR on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Anyway, let's get to this... Tombstone. Tombstone, 1993. Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott. Let's run the clip, and I will ingratiate after the clip. Here we go. Yay, Tombstone. I'm your Huckleberry.
In Tombstone, crime ruled the streets. Violence stalked the innocent. And every stranger was your enemy. Until Wyatt Earp and his brothers arrived. And now, all hell is about to break loose. Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Bill Paxton, Jason Priestley, Sam Elliott, Dana Delaney, Michael Bean, Powers Booth, Charlton Heston.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Justice is coming to Tombstone.
Loved that movie. It was so good. If you like,
Can they come back to this century and take care of our little problems?
God, it's getting to that point, isn't it? It's scary. And although we are all about peaceful revolution, because those are the only ones that really, really work as far as life and liberty and pursuit of happiness. Tombstone, I think Powers Booth, who has passed away, and Bill Paxton's passed away too soon. All of them, and when anyone passes away, it's too soon for me. The gifts, the acting in that Disney movie back then in 1993 was far and above underrated, I believe. It was fantastic. I mean, I felt really good at the end of that movie. There was violence and everything else. It was Wild Wild West. But you know what? It was uplifting for all the violence that was in it. So you remember that movie, right?
Yeah, there's two that came out at the same time.
Wyatt
So
Earp
one,
with Kevin
yeah.
Costner.
So I think that's why it was more underrated because of that.
Yeah, they were fighting back then. It was, the spies from Disney said, "Hey, Costner's got a Wyatt Earp movie. Let's beat him to the punch." I don't know who stole whose concept first, but it was. Tombstone beat him to the punch. Although that Wyatt Earp movie was good with Costner, I didn't care for it. Tombstone really gave me energy, and it was probably because the acting of Val Kilmer and Powers Booth and Sam Elliott and not Charlton Heston, but he was good in that. I mean, credit where credit's due. But it was a great movie, and the ending was nice. We don't even get that kind of stuff anymore in movies, I don't believe. Rhonda, what's the last one that you really felt good about that was, that you can remember quickly?
Oh, I can't quickly. I
Oh,
don't
Jesus. Yeah, I know.
watch a whole lot of. I don't.
It's tough. We were talking yesterday. I think it was Shonda was talking about how she likes to watch documentaries and historical pieces and stuff. And I absolutely respect that because you're building up your knowledge around things. But with so intertwined in everything that's happening for me, I've got to go watch some gratuitous garbage from time to time. And in those, there are these tiny gems, those
Right.
that stick out that I'm fortunate enough just as a release. But anyway,
I
Tombstone.
want to give a shout out to Al. Do you see? Al gave us a super chat, or if that's what they're called.
Al,
thank you, Al.
Thank you, Al. That's
And Melissa, you're right. I really don't want them back. They were corrupt as hell. I was just thinking of a little problem that we might need.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But you're right, Melissa. We don't. Really
it's revisionist history, Columbus and Columbus Day and all. These. What's the one that the Lewis and Clarks? I mean, I've read a few historical books that I actually believe about how they really parsed it, and the proof's in the pudding. When all of our relatives came from Europe back in the day, they were murdering.
Right.
I digress. Anyway, Western Wednesday. Take it for what we thought it might have been or could have been. Good guys and bad guys. You'd be surprised. And speaking of good guys and bad guys, we have our outgo song. This one is close to my heart, and it takes off on the theme we started the movie with: the good, the bad, the ugly. And Eli Wallach, I have to say, out of those three of Eastwood and Van Cleef, Eli Wallach is probably one of my favorite actors of that era. I mean, he could do anything. Him and Rod Steiger, they were fan-frickin-tastic. And what was that movie that Eli, one of his last movies he did with Cameron Diaz and The Holiday? The Holiday? Yeah, where Cameron Diaz switched houses with Kate Beckinsale over in Europe, and she met her brother, and she was like a workaholic. Eli Wallach was, to me, the standout, the old guy, the old writer, Hollywood writer. He was the best in that movie, just by far. Kate Winslet did a great job too. But anyway, outgoing song today. I love this. This is a little piece for those who like classical guitar. And this is from the theme of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly with Ennio Morricone, who was brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Tell me, Rhonda, if you can hear this when I start it up. I want to thank everybody again. It's been a fun day. Thank you, Christine, for suggesting the Western Wednesday. And it's always
thank you all so much.
Oh, Osama. Hey, Osama, welcome. We want to get you on some music going. So let's talk. Let's talk, Osama.
Oh, yeah. I saw Jeffrey Denton in there, too. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hey, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, my analytical brother in arms on politics. Our analytical brother. Man, she's sharp as a tack. So anyway, we have a door open here. Okay, we got the door shut now. We've got this one's and Ennio Morricone, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly theme. Thank you, Rhonda. Have a great day. And we will.
Thank you, Oz.
Yeah. So goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Let me know if you can hear this.
Okay.